welcome to the latest episode of the ReWine, where we rewind the latest in entertainment and pop culture news. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
And this week, Tammy, I want to start with a big shout out and rest in power to hip hop legend, the late, great Biz Markie. You remember Biz Markie, right?
You got what I need. But you say
she's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. Oh, baby. Now that we've literally risen the dead.
Hey, I mean, when I heard that he died, very, very sad, prayers go out to his family. That automatically came to mind. Like, I started singing and I was just like, yo, that's just memories. Like, that brings up memories. So, definitely sadness.
Yeah, so big shout out, like you said. I hate saying it now because it sounds so hollow, but sending prayers out to his family and his friends and things like that. Also, just quick pops, follow-ups, for some stories. We don't have to go too in depth with them, but did you ever watch Drake and Josh on Nick?
I know Drake
Disney
and Josh.
Something. Yeah. Well, Drake Bell. It turns out he's the biggest douche ever. He got in trouble for child endangerment, but it had something to do with sexual assault and grooming of a kid and sending him pictures that he shouldn't have been sending to a 15-year-old. Anyway, he got off with probation. I guess the flip side of that is that he will have to register as a sex offender, but just based on the case and a lot of details of this case, they kept under wraps. But the victim gave a victim statement at his sentencing, but he still got 2 years and he will have to register as a sex offender. So, Britney Spears is making headway in her conservatorship. She finally is able to hire her own lawyer, and she hired a real powerhouse, a shark. So I think, hopefully it'll work out for her. And she also finally got to drive her own car. She finally gets to drive herself around town now and take control of her own social media. And she's been taking control. She basically told people last week, if you don't like me, she said, basically, fuck you and step on Legos. So,
Damn, okay.
And just the things that we take for granted that you realize just how constricted. So I'm really waiting on that interview. Like when all is said and done, I'm waiting on the Britney and Oprah interview. You thought Harry and Megyn spilled some tea. I know Britney's going to have some shit to say. So, and also the Olympics have started. Do you plan on watching?
Nope.
Weren't you the one a couple of weeks ago who was just like, they worked so hard and you
no. I can acknowledge the fact that they worked hard, but I think just the drama of the Olympics, but also on just where I am, I'm just not excited this year the way that I've been in previous years. Like I have previously always watched the Olympics, and I'm sure I'll catch clips on YouTube because I'm constantly on YouTube. So I'll catch clips, but to actually full on watch the coverage on NBC, I'm gonna honestly say no, I'm not. But I'll catch clips of the sports that I usually follow during the Summer Olympics. But to actually really, really sit down and be as focused as I usually am for the Olympics, no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I watched a little bit this morning. I watched volleyball, and plus with it being halfway around the world, the times have changed and it's kind of weird to catch. So actually a lot of it probably will be watching the repeats on prime time anyway. But this has already gone down as the most expensive Olympics in history. We know that they cost the host cities a lot of money. And a lot of it is because of the delay to the pandemic. So you understand that. But there's really no way for Tokyo to recoup this money because they don't have the tourism because no one showed up. They're not able to sell tickets because they're not having spectators. So this is probably going to go down as one of the most most expensive, and I'm going to say from a financial standpoint, least successful. And there's a whole bunch of stories out there about how cities always lose money on the Olympics anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. And they're also catching flack because they've been talking about how they have not wanted the athletes to hook up during the Olympics. So they gave them cardboard beds, which they said was for the environment. And yeah, legit cardboard bed. Like it looks like an IKEA box. And imagine putting together a bed from IKEA made out of cardboard, a twin bed from IKEA made out of cardboard. That's what they are on. But this one Olympic gymnast from Ireland, he was jumping up and down on the bed trying to prove that the bed was sturdy enough for them to actually have sex if they wanted to have sex on these beds. So, you know, I guess they can still get busy at the Olympics, even though
you can have sex on anything. I don't understand why a cardboard bed would stop somebody from like you can have sex on anything. Like so yeah, that's a fail.
Well, you know, I guess you think if you try to sit on a cardboard or step on a cardboard or an Amazon box, you would fall through. But you know, some people break the beds, regular beds, when they're having sex. But you know, and athletes have also been touting their use of cannabis and CBD after Sha'Carri Richardson's suspension for weed. And a lot of this has been led by Regan Rapinoe, whose sister owns a CBD company. And so the difference between CBD and weed, though, is that CBD doesn't have the THC, which is actually what the drug in weed or marijuana that gets you high. So without being, you know, I'm not a weedologist or a scientist, but that's the difference, just for those who were curious about why. And speaking of Olympics, also following up, you remember Maria Taylor from ESPN?
Yeah, we did a whole storyline on her.
Yeah, well, she bounced out. She left ESPN and she went to NBC Sports. And I think they just announced this like a couple of days ago, and she's already in the in Tokyo covering the Olympics. So shout out to Maria Taylor, looking for big things for you at NBC Sports. And I hope that, you know, it's a much better environment. A lot of former ESPN sports anchors end up at NBC Sports. So I hope it's a better environment because we know that ESPN, they really, really, really need to get their shit together. And speaking of sports, the NFL is making major waves. What did you think about the announcement of them performing the Black National Anthem before all their games now?
That's some bullshit. Okay. The NFL, just like a lot of sports leagues that, you know, are definitely getting their feet to the fire for their lack of diversity and handling diverse issues within their organization. And their way of solving this is to play the Black National Anthem. Like, no. That means nothing. It means nothing. And all you're going to do is have more people make a big stink about this. And then they're not even going to be playing it like before games. Like they're going to be playing it when nobody's paying attention. Like it's going to be like the music that you hear when you're walking around before they tell you to take your seats, before the game actually officially starts, where the players get on the field and everything like that. So like, I'm not even going to say good try. I'm not even going to say nice try. Like, I'm going to say that this is an empty attempt to make up for this shit show that your organization is. And I mean, you know, do better.
Yeah. At this point, it's really performative, you know, pun intended. I don't know. Are you going to have someone sing the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl like they do? Are you going to give that the same attention and credence that you give the national anthem at the Super Bowl? Have someone come out and sing it, you know, stuff like that. So I'm just waiting till all the people realize, you know, all those MAGA hats and all those realize, oh shit. But that story actually was drowned out a little bit this week. I thought it would get more traction than it did, but it did not, because the NFL came out with something else surrounding Rona. And as you know, Rona and her cousin Delta, they're wreaking havoc again, shutting down everything. A lot of UK productions of shows in the entertainment industry are shut down. Sean Penn says he's not going back to work on a show that he's working on for Stars until everyone's vaccinated on set. So you're seeing a lot of these things, and people are grappling, especially Hollywood and entertainment. It's ripping through the Korean entertainment industry, I know as well. So now they're asking the question of what do they do? Should these industries mandate vaccinations? And so the NFL, they didn't go as far as to mandate it, but they said this. They sent out a memo saying that, hey, unlike last year when there wasn't a vaccine and we really had no choice, we are not going to suffer the losses for missed games. We're not going to work our butts off to try to reschedule games. We're not giving you rescheduling time. We're not doing any of that. If your team has to postpone a game due to a corona outbreak on your team, you're just going to take that L, especially now that we know that most of the reason why it's spreading the way it is because people are refusing to get vaccinated. So they're like, you just take that L. What do you think about that?
I agree. I actually heard about this story. You know, I don't really follow sports stories. But I did hear about this story and you know, the details of it. And I agree. I think that because they know they get some real world pushback if they mandated that everyone has to get vaccinated in order to play football, this is the next best thing that they can do. And so it's up to what do they call them? The clubhouses, or I know in baseball they call it the clubhouses. Do they call it in football? I don't.
Yeah, the team, the front office.
Okay, yeah, front office. So it's up to the front office of each team in order to make sure they can get as many of their players to be vaccinated as possible in order to not take that loss when a COVID outbreak, because you know it's going to happen because the numbers are going up among the unvaccinated. So if numbers are going up among the unvaccinated, these are decisions that are being made not only in the NFL, but in different sports as well as in corporations, in order to counter the fact that people who don't want to get vaccinated, you're going to be coming in and you're going to spread that virus around because a lot of people are asymptomatic. So I'm all for it with the NFL. I fully agree. I wish they could just come out and say that every player needs to be vaccinated or you don't play. But I did hear there's two big name football players who are completely against getting vaccinated. And they're like, oh, I'm going to just play as I play and, you know, everything like that. And I don't care if you big or not, like you can get that same standard that everybody else is getting with your big check. Like you can do that.
Yeah. Speaking, I think one of them is DeAndre Hopkins, and he even who used to play for the Texans and who now plays for the Arizona Cardinals. He'd even tweeted out something about him possibly retiring if it came down to that. Well, first of all, this is not a mandate, but you would rather take the risk of getting long-term TBI, CTE because of the hits and the violence, just the innate violence of the sport, rather than do something that would save your life, something that's proven to be effective. You know, there's still some, it's relatively new, but there's still some that they're working out the side effects of. Johnson & Johnson seems to have the most, seems to be that commercial where, okay, you're taking this because you have diarrhea. Well, it may result in heart attack, blind. And you're like, well, damn, let me just go to the store and get the Pepto.
Don't take that one shot, y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't trust that Johnson & Johnson.
So, you know, that one seems to be the one where they're seeing the most outside side effects that cause other side effects. But the point I was making is that you would rather do that, suffer the long-term brain damage, than actually take a shot. And like you said, they're not mandating it. They're just giving you options. And they actually said this year they are going to fine players up to $15,000, especially the unvaccinated players who may be the cause of this or who are not following the protocols. You know, last year it was kind of loosey-goosey with people not following protocols because it was all new. Like I said, we really didn't have options. It was just, we were in the thick of it and they were just trying to see and now we do have options. We found something effective, and it would be more effective if people would do the right thing and think about their responsibility towards society, you know. And like I said, I'm not pressuring anyone or saying that I understand the hesitancy in it, but you have to outweigh the pros and the cons, I think, of it. So, in the NBA, they're starting their summer league, and they said, hey, unvaccinated players, because the summer league in the NBA is always in Vegas. And so they said, hey, unvaccinated players, go live your life. Go have fun in Vegas. You can go out. You can leave your room. Vaccinated players, you're going to keep your ass in that little bubble called your room. So they don't want them out and about after games and stuff like that. So we'll see how it all plays out and what happens. I know the Yankees, they didn't have to forfeit, but they did have some postponements because a lot of their team, after they came to Houston, as a matter of fact, their team came down with the Rona outbreak. So we'll see what happens. Do you think Hollywood should mandate it? Do you think the entertainment industry should mandate vaccines?
Yes. Like I'm sorry. I am of the mindset on that being vaccinated is the healthiest thing for us to get through this pandemic that has not ended, as well as the fact that when you look at the numbers and you see that the ones who are dying from this virus is the unvaccinated, and they're going out willy-nilly and doing whatever they want and then coming on set and spreading, especially with the Delta variant. Like, yes, I'm all for companies that are saying is either you get vaccinated or you don't have a job. I'm all for restaurants that are saying that for their wait staff. I'm all for sports leagues that are saying, like, I am for people, companies mandating that, private organizations, because you may have a right to not be vaccinated. That is your right. If you don't want to be vaccinated, that's your right. But it's also the right of the corporation or the private entity to also say that you don't have a job with them if you are unvaccinated. Like, you don't have a right to have a job there. You have a right to work. You don't have a right to have a job at that corporation or at that company. And that's what people need to understand. So I'm all for them mandating, because it makes it safer for everybody else to go out and do what they want. Because it's always the unvaccinated that want to go willy-nilly all over the place, and yet you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, and so
you don't
far
want spreading it.
And so far, the courts have kind of sided with you. That case out of Houston with Memorial Hermann Hospital System, where they ended up ultimately letting go of those nurses who did not want to be vaccinated. They're like, you're fucking healthcare providers. You are like ground zero for this. You should want to be vaccinated. But, I guess the cost of when politics sometimes interferes with our common sense. I hate that this thing has become so political. So I'm sure definitely until this is actually over, this is not our last time talking about this. And making history in sports, on the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition, they have long caught smoke for not having enough Black and minority representation on the cover. And so Sports Illustrated this year, they were like, hold my beer. They have 3 different covers with 3 different models. Megyn Stallion, who's the first rapper to cover the swimsuit edition. Leyna Bloom, who is a trans model. She's on the cover, and she's also African American. She looks like she might be mixed with something, but I think she's predominantly African American. And Naomi Osaka also made the cover. And I've seen all 3 covers, and the women look beautiful on the covers. And I was like, oh, okay. So it was really cool. And like last year, I think they just did something online, like they just did pictures, but this year they actually went back to the magazine, and it was really kind of cool. Did you see any of those covers, or have you seen any of them?
I saw them. They're nice.
You're like, they're nice. And Naomi Osaka, of course, she caught heat from professional trolls. I think, what does Megyn Kelly do now besides troll people? Like, does she have a job?
She's a host on another network. I forget which one, but
I was gonna say, did she go back to Fox, or did she just go full on? Is she
she'll never go back to Fox. She makes more money not being on Fox.
Is she like on OWN or something like that? Not Oprah's network, but that other one, that other MAGA network.
OAN?
Yeah, that one.
I to be honest, I don't know, because I'm not a fan of Megyn Kelly. I'm not even a fan of her adversity and like her, passive aggressive shit. Like, so I don't know. I just know that she's doing good.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say professional troll, because I don't know what she is, but yeah, okay. She gets paid to troll people, obviously. So she was trolling Naomi Osaka about, oh, how can you not do press, but you can do this? And so it's like, well, the magazine covers were shot a while ago. They weren't shot last week, and it's her choice to decide what she wants to do and how she wants to do it. And I understand it, because especially after we talked about a little bit when we talked about the story originally about how the press, in those gaggles, as they're called, they can be so just come at you with all these random ridiculous questions. And I was watching part of the Olympics, and I saw this part in the press conference for the USA men's basketball team. The question this dude asked, I want to say, I think the player was Jabel. I forget which player it was, but he basically asked the person, "Is your mom still alive?" And I was like, "What? Where did that come from? Like, just a random, out of the blue, pull it out of your ass question. You ask someone if their mother is still alive, which is weird." So I kind of get that. And of course, professional troller and dick, Piers Morgan, who seems to have a problem with Black women, or women in general, but Black women especially, he also chimed in on that. So, you know.
Yeah, but to like, I like Naomi's clapback before she deleted it, because she did end up deleting the tweet that she tweeted out to Megyn Kelly. But when they said that, the difference is, first of all, before what Naomi said, the difference is that a photo shoot is you taking photographs. A press, like, you have to answer questions. They can ask whatever they want to ask. Like, that's a two very, very different things. A photo shoot is not dealing with the press. You don't deal with the press in a photo shoot. So Megyn Kelly, as smart as you are, because you're not a dumb woman, as smart as you are, the nonsense that comes out of your mouth or on your tweets is ridiculous. That shows that you really are a troll. On the nonsense that you put out there just to get retweeted and to get attention, because that's basically why you did it. And then Naomi Osaka called her out and said, yeah, if you actually paid attention to the timeline of these photo shoots, you will know that I took these photos even before the whole thing with me coming out saying that I wasn't going to do press and everything like that. So Naomi called her out on that. And then it was very, I want to say, in your face. And I think that's the reason why she ended up deleting it, because it was very in your face. Like I literally could see her going to be like, "Bitch, let me tell you about this," kind of thing. And so that was the vibe that I got when I read it. It was a true clap back. She was in her face, going at her with her fingers in her face, kind of thing. So I can understand her deleting the clap back that she did. But of course, once you tweet it out, it's forever. So somebody did retweet it already, and I read it. But yeah, so Megyn Kelly and all those other conservatives, y'all just trying to get, you just trying to get likes, or you just trying to get attention. And so rather than understanding people who are going through certain things, this is what you're doing. Especially Megyn Kelly, people were behind you when you went through your own shit at Fox News. And this is how you respond to that. You're just a bad person. Is it? Can I just say just in a nice way? You're just that's just you being a bad person. You're a bad individual. You're a bad human being, just on your response to those kinds of things.
And especially as a woman, and we may all have differences, especially cultural differences or whatever. But there's certain innate things that all women go through. We know what it's like. I don't care if you're Black, brown, blue, whatever, white. We all, as women, there are just certain things that we all experience. So from that level, you should have a little bit more compassion. Because like you said, when you were going through your bullshit at Fox, and it was horrible, people stood behind you. Even people who didn't fucking like you felt some sort of sympathy and compassion and empathy for all the drama and bullshit that you had dealt with, from that whole issue. The Me Too movement, they were behind you. And from that perspective, oh, you were all about it. But then once you got on the other side of it, it's oh, now you want to troll and talk, say things about Me Too and all that other stuff. So it's just ridiculous. But and she's one of those that, hey, as long as the attention and the sympathy is coming her way, she's all about taking it, but she doesn't know how to return it. And Pierce Morgan, like I said, is just a dick. And, you know, speaking of dicks, the Billionaire Space Wars commenced this week. And between Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos, who both actually just went to the tip of space and came back. And Bezos actually went on a penile shaped rocket. So, yeah. And the dick jokes just write themselves.
I understand, like, that's funny or whatever, but I think, like, the sociologist in me is just on the mindset of the media is paying attention to billionaires wasting millions of dollars to go to the tip of space when we are literally at a point where the gap between the poor and the rich is getting more and more ridiculous, that we are watching the news as they cover billionaires going to space. Like, what the fuck do I care about billionaires going to space? That means nothing to me. I didn't watch none of the news coverage. I didn't read none of the articles. I just heard about this from seeing the headlines. I refuse to read the articles because it's ridiculous that the media has become like, how do we sensationalize this? But yet, minimum wage is still at $7.25 though. Okay.
And here's, I'm with you. I didn't watch it. I didn't want to watch it. And then especially when you find out that they're just going to the tip of space. And I did see the rocket, and I saw something
tip of space in his penis rocket.
Yes. He just got the tip in. Like I said, the jokes write themselves. And so I saw something, a headline, and I'm like, it is not. I know someone on Twitter said, why does his rocket look like a dick or a penis? And I'm like, it does not. You're just being stupid or hyperbolic, right? And then when I actually see, I saw the clip on YouTube, I'm like, holy shit, it really does look like a penis. And so I was talking to my mom, and she was like, what's so funny? And I said, you know, talking to my mom, I try to clean my language up a little bit. And I said, Mom, that is a penile shaped rocket. And she's like, no, it's not. And then she got all up and she goes, oh, it is. And so I was like, and then what makes it worse is you see the pictures of Bezos get off there you go. The jokes just like themselves. Get off of this rocket in a cowboy hat, looking like he'd actually done something. And to try to make up for it, as soon as I guess he knew about all the bad press he was getting leading up to this, he gives $200 million away to charity, which I don't have a problem with. And it's not for me to say how he gets his money. I don't begrudge him of having the money. I'm not begrudging him of being a billionaire, Amazon, whatever. But here's the thing. You could be more generous with, take that $200 million that you gave to two people, Chef Andres, who does great things. I know that money would be put to great use, but why not divide it up and give it to more people who can use it? And then Van Jones, and I'm not a fan of Van Jones. I have nothing nice to say about Van Jones. So I don't know enough about what he's involved in or not involved in to where the money's going to go or how he plans on using it.
You know what? Let me stop. Go ahead.
Yeah. That Van Jones from CNN.
Okay. I just want to make sure it was the same one that was in my head. Go ahead.
Yeah, that one. So, but why not take that money and improve the lives of the people you thanked for getting you there, your workers? You know, give them a raise. We all have heard the stories about how shitty the workers at Amazon are treated, how little they're paid comparatively for the work that they do, how you cycle through your workers at Amazon. So why don't you take that $200 million and boost the infrastructure, since we're all talking about infrastructure of your company and your morale? You know, so I have a problem with us paying so much attention to billionaires' vanity projects when there's so much other shit going on in the world that you could do besides going out into the tip of space, you know. So we'll see. And unfortunately, this is just the beginning, because the next narcissistic billionaire trying to get his way into space, if he can keep his rockets from blowing up on takeoff, is Elon Musk. So look out for that. And Chris Wu. Do you know who Chris Wu is?
I did not until I read up on who he was. I'd never heard of him, but then again, like I'm into K-pop, not necessarily C-pop, so which is like, because I mean, he was an XO, but he was only an XO for a year before he sued in order to get his contract voided. So before I knew who XO was, he'd already left the group by that time. So I didn't know who he was until I read up on him. But go ahead.
Yeah. I'm with you. He was in EXO. He started out and I'm like, oh, EXO, with their latest album. I can say I'm a fan of the latest album, and of course I love Bacon. Bacon's my boy, so I'm always gonna ride for Bacon. But so I can say I have more respect for EXO, and I like Kai, but that's a different story. He's a Chinese Canadian actor, model, singer, multi-hyphenate. And apparently, he is being investigated for sexual assault. And he was like one of the most popular faces and brand names. Like, he was China's brand boy, it boy for brands: Louis Vuitton, Porsche, Bulgari, Lancome, Kiehl's. If you needed it hawked in China, he was going to be the face of that brand for China. And he started losing deals with all of this coming out about how he was grooming young girls, having them come to photo shoots, having them come to video shoots, or using that as a guise to get them there, applying them with alcohol and doing all of this other stuff, allegedly. But the big deal to this, because, unfortunately, we hear about these stories all the time here. What really caught me about this is that it's the Chinese state media that is leading this investigation. And normally you hear about these things, especially in China, you don't hear about these things, especially for someone so popular. So my question is, who the hell did he piss off in China?
I don't know. Like, because I mean, like, I heard about it through, other avenues, on the fact that the main accuser towards him she went social media, and it blew from there. And then I think that the Chinese China One kind of channel, because we all have that one main channel. They took it up from there when it started to blow out, and he started to lose endorsements, because when you start to lose endorsements, you are no longer a benefit to China. Like, you starting to lose sponsorships, and like, you no longer a benefit to China. But yeah, like it's really huge. It's really big. And yeah, like he was basically taking, like, grooming these girls and taking their virginity. Like, he was sleeping with allegedly, I guess I should throw that out there.
We don't have the lawyers to play for a lawsuit.
Yeah. He would kind of like, tell them, or his team would tell these girls that he was going to get them into acting, and he was going to get them into modeling. They want to be an idol. And then they would come, and they're thinking they're coming to his hotel room to, like, meet up, and they're going to be more girls there and everything like that. And then they would show up, and it would just be him. And then from there, he would sweet talk them, liquor them up, and then he would sleep with them, or, and then after that, he would ghost them, kind of thing. He goes 0 dark 30 on them after a while, like, lose interest. So this is just a thing. And the more details that come out, like, the more disgusted it is on just how, just how horrible it is. And yeah, like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I was reading just today. I was looking up, I knew he had Louis Vuitton, but I was looking up some of his other sponsorships, and they said that they have proven one, that the police have proven a relationship with one. She's 19 now, but when the relationship took place, she was younger. And so I'm like, it is really disgusting. And like you say, I guess, and you answered the question, like, I guess when you started losing, first of all, she did the right thing. But even in China, where they monitor your social media, I'm like, okay, who did you piss off for this to actually get out? Because, they clamp down on that stuff really hard. And the Chinese state media pushing this whole YouTube thing, like I said, they have very tight reins or control over the news that you get and don't get in China and all of that. So I'm just like, yeah, dude, yeah. We'll see how this plays out, but it is really, really disgusting. And see if he actually ends up doing jail time or how they handle it, aside from him losing his career and his money and popularity and fame and all of that crap. So on a different note, going back to the lighter side, guess who's dropping an album next month?
JB. I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready.
I'm so ready. I'm so excited. I've been watching Yogi. He's been having stuff like they've been doing behind the scenes about him preparing his album, little episodes on YouTube, and I'm still listening to his album. Love it. And I know, and I still go back and listen to Switch It Up, although it makes me mad sometimes because I'm like, I want to hear so much more, and you just hear this one song. So the other day I was listening to Switch It Up, and then I had to go play some Offshore and some earlier tracks from JB. I was just like, oh, I can't wait. And then to get this news that his album is finally dropping on the 26th of August.
I think Young Jay's coming out too. So like, it's hilarious to me because I mean, like they're all doing amazing things because like it was Bam Bam and Yogi, who are like BFFs anyway, coming out around the same time and really promoting together. But there is a rumor that Young Jay is working on an album himself, and he is planning on releasing it in August or September. So I wouldn't be surprised if he releases it around JB's time and, you know, they kind of do it together or whatever like that, just because of how close they actually are with each other. And then on a side note of that, Jin Young is doing amazingly well as an actor. You know, he's put his music to the side, but as an actor, like he is doing amazingly well. So they all got their thing going. And then you heard about Jackson, right? In the Olympics, he was in the video, the promotion video.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I see. They left JYP and they doing great things like they said they would.
Yeah, because it's like, and you know what? I love it because they were the first ones to do this. And I think it sets a tone for other idol groups who are unhappy with their contracts. And once they get out of their contracts, who are unhappy with their contracts. And once they get out of these stifling contracts, it's like your career is not over. And I think a lot of these companies, especially in this day and age, as K-pop and K-entertainment is becoming more and more popular and more global, your career does not have to be over. This company may have helped you, but you helped them as well. So go build on that. And I love that GOT7 is kind of paving the way because they're one of the only groups where all of the members left and went and did different things. Usually you'll have some stay and some go. And then after they go, it's very rare that they have successful careers outside of that. So, you know, like Jay Park, but Jay Park was kind of different just because, you know,
Jay Park kind of did it to himself as well.
Yeah, you know, so we'll see. But and also speaking of K-pop, you know, we can barely go a week without talking about our boys, BTS, Bangtan Soyeon. Getting better at that. Working on my Korean, but Butter was knocked out of the #1 spot. Aww. But it was replaced with Permission to Dance, also by BTS. Did you like?
Everybody knew it would. Like,
yeah,
everybody shot. Like everybody knew that Permission to Dance was going to debut at #1, and it was going to knock Butter. Here's my thing. This is what I was a little surprised about. Butter went down to #7.
Yeah, but I know Olivia Rodrigo's song "Good for You" had been holding steady at #2, and Butter is still getting airplay. It's #7 on the Hot 100. That was the other thing. This is the other place where they're making history. The Butter is still #1 on the other major chart, and that's the Songs of the Summer chart. So in the summer, Billboard releases their Songs of the Summer chart from the beginning to the end of the summer. And so far, Butter has dominated that chart. So it looks like Butter might be the Song of the Summer. And they're the only group to have a song, two different songs at number one on the two different major charts. Permission to Dance on a Hot 100, Butter on the Songs of Summer. And the only other person to do that was Katy Perry back in 2012, I think, or when she first released. Was it 2012? Yeah, with Teenage Dream and oh, I forgot the other song that she had out then. But yeah, so we'll see. And they were also named appointed as special envoys to the UN for South Korea for culture and something else, fine arts, I believe. So all if if Delta doesn't shut us down again, if we don't have any major spikes or anything, it looks like they may actually be coming to New York in September. We'll see how that works out, or if they're going to do it remotely. We'll see what happens. And then they're also filming something for the BBC next week. I think they're going to debut their song with Coldplay, and they're supposed to be doing. I'm interested to see how this goes. They're going to do a cover of Diddy's "I'll Be Missing You" with Faith Evans. So we'll see what that's going to be like. What the BTS spin on that song is going to be. I'm excited. So big things. And do you want to tell the audience about your prediction for BTS and what you think their next album is going to be, or do you want to keep it to yourself, not jinx it?
Oh, they still going for that Grammy. So my prediction is by the end of the year, they're going to have an all English album that they're going to come out with, because that's their ultimate goal. They win a Grammy, most likely they're gonna be able to be exempted from the military. So yeah, that is gonna be their goal. I know they're working on that right now.
Yeah. And I think the cutoff for this year's Grammy submissions, I think the release, I think it's late August, early September. I think they don't take songs after that or consider songs after that. So this year they were smart. They gave them two things to choose from. You have Permission to Dance, you have Butter. So we'll see how that goes. I still say they were robbed last year for Dynamite, which has also reached 1 billion streams on YouTube. So not YouTube, 1 billion
on Spotify.
On Spotify.
They joined the Billionaire Club, which is a very exclusive club. I think that it's less than 20 songs or something like that have made the Billionaire Club, which is an actual playlist on Spotify. And Dynamite just got entered into the Billion Club. So congratulations to them for that.
So also now, did you see, we talked about this a little bit, Black Widow. Do you think Disney sabotaged Black Widow? It debuted number one, had a great debut, $80 million, $60 million in streaming. And then last week it lost to Space Jam to, it dropped so far. Like the box office gross and totals dropped so far. A lot of people are saying the theaters were upset. AMC tanked on that. And they were upset because they said Disney blindsided them with their last minute Disney Plus streaming option. Do you agree?
No, I'm not shocked that it dropped. But we had different opinions about it, in the last episode. Yeah, we had different opinions about it when we did our Black Widow episode, but I wasn't shocked. Space Jam wasn't going to be it. Of course, it wouldn't be the box office hit that it normally would be, but I did believe that Space Jam would make a lot of money. Like it's geared towards kids, and that definitely was something. So no, I'm not shocked. I mean, Marvel movies usually do have like a big opening, and then depending on the next big movie that comes out, whether it comes out the week after, it does have their drops. So no, I wasn't shocked.
I was shocked. I wasn't shocked that Space Jam did well. That didn't shock me, although a review on that movie is possibly pending. I did watch it on HBO Max. I was shocked. I wasn't shocked that it dropped off. I didn't expect it to do 80 million or pulling those kinds of numbers a second week in a row. So the drop off didn't surprise me, but how far it dropped off, and the fact that it was not, Space Jam was predicted to do well, but it wasn't predicted or projected to beat Black Widow. And so I think a little bit, I think Disney did sacrifice some of the long-term gains or the long-term box office for the short-term games. Because once you bought it, they were saying that, okay, you know, people, once you buy the movie, you can share it with your friends and family. You can share your Disney Plus password with your friends and family. They can log in and watch it. They don't have to pay for it. So they were also saying that it was a lot of bootlegging of the movie going on too, which probably played into it. So we'll see. I still say, you know, it was a really good movie and a success, but we'll see what happens with that strategy if they continue.
It also didn't have the best review. Some of the reviews, some people just didn't like the movie, and you know, when you spread that word around that you wasn't really completely satisfied with how the movie turned out, that also can discourage people from going to see it in theater.
What? How dare they? Well, you know, I was one of those.
I mean, we had different opinions. Like we had different, me and you have a different opinion from others, because I thought it was a really, really good movie for a first movie. I enjoyed it, but there were people that did not truly enjoy it the way that we did, and you know, word of mouth spreads, and then all of a sudden, you know, people don't want to go see it in theater. They're willing to wait for it to officially premiere on Disney Plus. You know,
how dare they give bad word of review. I can't see it. It's got me so tongue-tied, so flabbergasted, so confounded. I'm verklempt. That's the SAT word of the day. I learned
there we go.
It was one of my words of the day. And so I'm like, ooh, where can I use that in a sentence? So there you go. Yes, stop rolling your eyes at me. You know,
I am shocked, because I feel like you have not been throwing out your SAT words as much. So let's bring that back, Eddie, so I can point out the fact on how much of a nerd you are and how we love you for it. We love your nerd ways.
Nerds rule. We even had movies.
Hey, they rule the world, I'm telling you.
Revenge of the Nerds, Strike Back. No, okay. So rounding this out before we go, we have the Emmy nominations. Did you see the list?
No. But I didn't see the full list. I didn't see the full list of exactly who was nominated for what category. But I did see the significant nominations, which I'm very, very happy with. So the important list I did see.
Yeah. That makes sense. And you know, again, we could do a quick pop or something, because it's a lot on here to talk about. And we could probably do a whole show about the Emmy nominations. They were actually pretty good this year. Rona did give us some surprisingly good TV, you know, but WandaVision, the leaders, WandaVision had 23. Ted Lasso. Have you seen Ted Lasso?
Nope. I heard it's good though.
It is really good. I was one of those who was late to it. I think I watched it last week, and I was just like, because you know, now that it was, especially it had been on my list, but now that it's nominated for an Emmy, I'm going through and I'm doing what I do with the Oscars. I'm going back and I'm rewatching, or I'm watching stuff that had been on a list that I just kind of hadn't made it to. So I'm trying to watch all the major Emmy things that I haven't seen. And I watched Ted Lasso, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, this is good. It's like laugh out loud good. So I am recommending, not only to you, Tammy, but to our audience, for those of you who have not seen Ted Lasso, please, please, please watch it. Give it a try. It's good. Handmaid's Tale had 21. And Lovecraft Country, which was not renewed at HBO. Oh, heartbreak. It had 18. And then Hamilton had 12 nominations, which it didn't get the Oscar love, but it's getting Emmy love, which is, you know, I think I was kind of surprised by Hamilton getting so many, or being nominated at all.
It's still it was a huge hit. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
It was, and I guess, you know, it wasn't made for TV, but since it debuted on TV, and you know, like I said, with Rona, we've all kind of had to play fast and loose with the rules. And I guess, you know, since it didn't get the Oscar love people were hoping it would get, it's getting Emmy love, which is it's a good thing. It was surprising, but it was a good thing. And this year, they're also, like, when people win the award, one of the things that they're doing is they are giving them the opportunity, if they don't want to be recognized by gender, like on their certificate or their trophy, they can just get performer instead of actor or actress. So, do you think that there's been some talk? Do you think they should get rid of the actual actor and actress categories themselves in these award shows?
No.
And just combine them?
No.
I agree. I don't think they should either.
No, women should be recognized for our talent with other women. Fuck you.
Yeah, because if you just did one big category, and I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, or you probably always have a man win, and that would be so disheartening. And so that would.
And then when the woman wins, it's kind of like people are questioning it.
Yeah. Oh, did they just give it to her, or you know,
because too many men have won it or something like that? So no, keep it separate.
Yeah, but I do appreciate the fact that they are allowing actors and actresses to determine how they want to be recognized, you know, on that. So that's cool. Outstanding drama series, The Boys. Surprised? Not surprised?
Don't care.
I was like, I know you're kind of lukewarm on The Boys, but I was surprised that it got nominated. Now, but wait, this is validation that The Boys is good, and we have to do season 3.
Oh, please, this is not validation, because you know we do not go off of the recommendations of these people.
So we are doing season 3 of The Boys?
No, we are not.
What?
It was a good try, though.
Anyway, Emmy Love says that we are. So when The Boys wins the Emmy, we're going to have to do season 3 because it will be Emmy winner. Pose was also nominated for Outstanding Drama Series. It ended 3rd season. The Outstanding Comedies, the usual, Blackish. Oh, here's the one. Emily in fucking Paris. Why do they keep trying to make Emily in Paris happen?
It's like they're trying to make fetch a thing. Like they're trying to make this show. Although, I mean, like, we enjoyed it for what it was, but what it wasn't was great.
Yeah, thank you.
And Emmy nominated great.
It was good, nominated for a Golden Globe and now an Emmy. And I'm like, why are you? I'm with you. Okay, it was a cute little show. It was cute. Will I watch the 2nd season? Yes, to see if it does better. It was interesting. It held my interest. But I'm with you. It's not great. It's not award nominee great, you know? But yeah, so it was nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series. The Outstanding Actor category, our boy, Jean Page. I'm getting better, but also worse at the same time with my accents. He was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. And 4 of the 6 actors or nominees in this category are Black. So I thought that was a big one. Billy Porter from Pose was also nominated. And Matthew Reese from Perry Mason. If you have not seen Perry Mason on HBO Max, watch it. Tammy, watch Perry Mason. I think I've told you that before. Outstanding Lead Actress, MJ Rodriguez from Pose. She was nominated. First trans actress. She makes history as the first trans actor or actress to be nominated for a major category, a major award. So
congrats to her. I haven't caught up on the 3rd season of Pose, but she was absolutely phenomenal in that show. So congrats to her on making that history in the making kind of role.
Yeah, it was good. And half of the 6 nominees in that category are Black or of color. And of course, MJ Rodriguez, you know, making that history. What else was I gonna see? Yeah, the Handmaid's Tale and The Crown, they dominate the supporting actress category. So that's where a lot of their nominees come from, are those supporting actress and actor categories. But one other thing, Bowen Yang from Saturday Night Live, he was nominated, and I loved him on Saturday Night Live, and he had some great skits, and I think he should get more airtime. They underutilized. He's one of the players that's underutilized, in my opinion, on Saturday Night Live. But a lot of Saturday Night Live was nominated for a lot this year, which is a great thing. I like Saturday Night Live. You don't watch it too much, do you?
I don't. I really don't. I catch the clips on the websites that I follow for entertainment news. So I do catch like the clips and everything like that. So I do know who he is, but do I actually watch the full show? I do not.
Another one, Sylvie's Love, which we talked about, was nominated for Outstanding TV Movie. So shout out to Sylvie's Love. And the two most competitive categories, I'm not going to go through this whole list, but the two most competitive categories that I noted were Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series, Kate Winslet, Michaela Cole, Anna Taylor-Joy for The Queen's Gambit, Elizabeth Olsen, and Cynthia Erivo. Like that category right there, you cannot go wrong. Whoever wins it will be deserving of that award. Like, wow. And the same thing for the supporting actress in the lead category. They're also the most competitive. So you can go through and check it out. Like I said, we could do a whole show on the Emmy nominations. So, who knows? Maybe it'll be an episode of Wind Down TVs or something, or maybe just a quick pop. We'll see. But the Emmys are going to be in September this year. So we're about 6 weeks away from the Emmys. And I'm looking forward to that. Are you going to watch the Emmys?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Award shows have gone to the bottom of my watch list. So, yeah, I mean, ask me when it gets closer to the Emmys and I can give you a better answer. For right now, I'd say no, but you never know. Maybe it'll change.
Cedric the Entertainer is hosting. I think I want to see.
Nothing to me, but okay.
I know. I think I want to see how they're going to do it. The way everything is shaping out, looks like it might be another hybrid show, just because we're still in the thick of this Rona shit. So we will see. And I think that just about does it. Do you have any news notes? Any other little kernels that we need to pop up in there? See what I did there? You like that, huh?
Yeah, so one of the owners of one of the most popular comedy clubs in New York City was randomly asked if he would invite Bill Cosby to do a show, and he point blank said no. Like no other, like he was just like no. And he was just like, come on, because he's had Louis C.K., he's had Aziz Ansari do comedy shows at his club, and when asked about Bill Cosby, he said no, that's two very, very different situations, and that would be an absolute no. Like he wouldn't be invited to ever do a show at his club. So yes, great job to the owner of that club. I think it's called Comedy Cellar or something like that. So I am all for it. Great job, because it is two very different situations with that. So that would just be my little tidbit for the end.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how random that is. I read somewhere that Bill Cosby has been telling people he's about to make a stand-up comeback.
And so they're asking these questions, and the people that they're asking is saying no, they're not open to supporting a comedy tour by Bill Cosby. So I'm all for these people who are saying no to Bill Cosby. Thank God there's still people with sense.
Thank you. Yeah, thankfully. So that does it for this episode of The ReWine. Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify Podcasts. You can also keep up with the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of goodness at the Popcorn Wind Down. That's it. That's the plug. And thank you as always. Ooh, I forgot. Pop, pop, pop. See, it would sound so much better if I had that sound effect. You know what next week is, Tammy? Will I get my sound effect? We will see.
It's our anniversary.
Do you know? See, got a one with the voice for the Tony. All right. So until next time, as always, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.